All right, welcome everybody. We're going to get started here in about a minute. I am reading the comments, and yes, thank goodness it's Friday, Kumar. I agree. Laura from India, yes, little time difference there, right? Good night. Good to have you here. Leonard, good morning. All right, so we're about a minute out, maybe 30 seconds or so. So we'll get going here in just a second. All right, well, welcome to Stock Analysis Friday. Great to have everybody here. And it looks like we've got a good turnout from literally around the globe, right? All right, so Stock Analysis Friday, what the purpose of this is really for a couple things. One is bring your stocks and ETFs here. I'm going to look them up. I'm going to analyze it using our software called the ART Trading System. And if you want to learn more about that, you can go to our website at traderscoach.com or appliedrealitytrading.com. We've been in this sector here for about, I guess we started in 1998, and we incorporated traderscoach.com in 2000. And I was actually trading way before then. So we've been at this space for a long time, and we've got a lot of experience in different parts of it. You know, risk control is a big part of it and so forth. But the great thing about Stock Analysis Friday is if you get a call like from your broker or something and they're suggesting a stock, hey, bring it here and we'll take a look at it from a technical standpoint. A lot of times the brokers, you know, they're going off basically fundamentals, or their firm is recommending it based on their analysis, which is fine, okay? But they don't always take into account the technical parts. And a lot of times we can improve your price by improving your timing. So a lot of people come here for that reason. Then, of course, if you're an independent trader, good to come here as well. So, you know, it's fun. We have a fun time here. We usually find a good handful of stocks, depending on what market cycle it's in. And we can go short and we can go long, okay? So that gives us an extra edge when the markets are moving down. Markets are kind of stable today. You know, we had a little bit of a draft down earlier this week, but they've kind of stabilized a bit. But we'll take a look at those stocks and those sectors and see how they're doing as well. We also do a market report every Wednesday that is recorded on YouTube, and I believe it's on Facebook and LinkedIn as well. So you can review that, and that's a recording. So that will give you a detailed look at the markets. We analyze Bitcoin, the cryptos there, the housing market as well. So a lot to go on there. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. Go ahead and type your stocks in caps there. And as soon as I do my intro here, we'll get going. All right, so first thing I've got to go over, of course, are the risks involved in trading. Like I always say, without that risk, there is no opportunity. So the two really go hand in hand, but you need to realize that there is risk in trading or even investing in the financial markets. And there are ways to protect yourself, but you cannot totally take the risk out. One way to protect yourself is simply make sure you fund your trading account with money you can afford to risk, called risk capital. So that's step one. The next step is when you actually take a trade or investment, when you go into that trade, know where you're going to get out. In other words, know when the trade is no longer a good reason to be in that trade. And then know where you're going to get out and know what your expected loss could be. And you can basically actually change that expected loss by varying your trade size or position size. In other words, how big your bet is on that particular investment or trade. And we have books on how to do that for each and every trade. We have calculators, software calculators that can help you with that too. All right, so those are two main things. And then finally, just realize that we're going to be talking a lot about some opportunities. I may love some of them, I may not. But if you like some of the ones that we do like, make sure you run those by your financial advisor or whoever manages your money to be sure they're suitable for you. That's really important because I don't know your personal situation, they do. And there's a lot of factors that come into play. All right, so I think that covers the risks involved pretty well. I do want to show you really quickly a screen with some of my books that I have available. I have a great book on money management. I actually have two. All right, one was published by Wiley Books, and the other one was one we did here called Money Management for Traders, second from the right. And the idea behind those books is to bring you up to stuff, so to speak, so you can basically have good risk control in your trading. So if you need help in that area, great place to go. I also wrote a book on Elliott Wave Techniques Simplified, published by McGraw-Hill, and that's been very nicely accepted in the marketplace. Great book. We actually help you learn how to do the wave countings and how to apply a percentage of probability on how accurate it is. So that goes a long way in helping people with that. And then I've got a survival guide for trading, which is our reference from Wiley Trading that I wrote that talks about how to run your trading business right out of your home using today's technologies so you can compete with the other traders. All right, and then my newest book on the far right called The Art of Trading, second edition, coming out this year. Pretty happy about that, being published once again by Wiley. And that's going to be a great book dealing with today's market, our software, how to assess yourself as a trader and things like that. So you can pre-order that. I'll put some links up in the recording, or you can just go to one of our websites. We have about 40 websites, so we got a lot, but they all trickle back to either traderscoach.com or they trickle back to Applied Reality Trading. All right, and again, once again, our software that we have and use on charts today is called the ART system. We have charting software, scanners, and risk control software. So you'll see that in action as well. All right, and then finally, if you wouldn't mind just taking a moment, giving us a like, all right? That helps us on these various platforms that we project out to. So we appreciate that. And if you could just take a minute to do that, that would be great. All right, so now I'm going to go to full screen here and focus in on some of the charts here. So I'm going to first start out with Bitcoin. I just want to do a quick review of Bitcoin. Everybody, you know, the cryptos are so much in the news today, and everybody is certainly interested in that. So good way to start it out, and then we'll get to the individual stocks and so forth. All right, before I get going, a few quick things on what you're looking at here. I'm running our software inside a charting platform called NinjaTrader. And NinjaTrader is a great platform, but our software works in NinjaTrader. It works in TradeStation, eSignal, multi-charts for those Forex traders, MT4 and MT5. And so this happens to be NinjaTrader I'm using now. And the next thing I do is I put our scanners up here. That's what you're seeing at the top. We're probably not going to use those today simply because you're going to give me the markets to look up. But on the below that is you'll see three charts. And notice they're all happen to be the same symbol. And as we look up stocks, this will be the same. This happens to be Bitcoin, right? So on the far left-hand side, we've got the 60-minute chart, which is kind of an intraday chart. And what that helps me do is take a look at the momentum just before I take a trade or consider a trade to see how that looks. And then on the daily chart here, this is the intermediate chart. This is basically where every price bar represents a full day. It's kind of the common chart most position traders use. And then on the far right is the weekly chart, gives me a long-term look where every price bar represents a full week. And this is called multiple time frame analysis using our software. And so what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the big picture. Is this a good time to enter, or do some of the charts I look at say wait a little bit? So it gives me a more broad-based view of what to do on this. All right, now I'm going to dive into Bitcoin here. All right, let's start with the daily chart right here. All right, the one in the center. Now, I'm going to use different forms of technical analysis, and one of them is called simply the Elliott wave. So the Elliott wave assigns numbers to swings in the market called waves. And when you have a fairly dominant wave like we've had run up here for the year here in Bitcoin, where it reached an all-time high, and it had tremendous momentum. Now, this is one of our indicators called the OWL, which stands for Optimum Wave Locator. And when the OWL is the highest, that means you are in what they call an Elliott wave 3. And you can see it marking it as a 3 here. So that's the third wave in the 5-wave sequence. So if that's a 3, all right, then what we have here is a 4. Now, the question is, and after a 4, then you get a 5 and get new highs. The question is 4 over, or is the pullback that we've seen in Bitcoin going to deepen before we get the next rally? That's really the question. And for that, we're going to take a look at some ways in which we measure retracements, and those are called Fibonacci numbers. So what we've done is we've drawn here a Fibonacci retracement. And the Fibonacci retracement, usually what it says is, okay, during the pullback, this is your high probability area of where normally, not always, but normally markets retrace to. And they do this about 70% of the time, they reach this area. And so that's the target zone, okay? So we call that the TZ, target zone. All right, there's an area above the blue line reaching into the red area, which I'll mark with this little arrow pointing both ways, where during strong uptrends, 15% of the time, this is all the profit taking you're going to get, the retracement you're going to get. So wave 4 is also considered a profit taking wave. So sometimes it ends there, all right? And then sometimes it goes a little deeper and goes 15% of the time. And for those Elliott wave folks, you know that it can't dive into the top of wave 1. So, but 15% of the time it can get a little bit exceeding the 70% range. So if we look at this in terms of a pullback probability, we have not hit the high probability area. We did hit the 15%. And if we look at the weekly chart over here on the far right, we have a very strong momentum still in place here, whereas here it's red. All right, so this is a wave 4 on this time frame. Wave 4s must have a red, what we call OWL. And so we're still in a pullback area. We have to be careful here because this technically did not reach the high probability target zone. So if it takes out this bottom here, then it's probably heading down here. All right, and down there is a 38.2 to 61.8% normal retracement off of wave 3. Okay, so that's a big deal. And when we look at something like that in terms of price, you're looking at 53,382 down to 40,484, and the top was 73,000. So that is a big number. Okay, you can certainly see that this wave 4, when put into proportion of how much of an upswing we've had in Bitcoin, all right, is basically normal. All right, so I'm kind of leaning for the fact that this correction is not quite over on Bitcoin. Now, after the correction is over, okay, we get down here, then we should get more highs and actually take out the high that we made back in, what was it, end of March, I guess, right? So I'm actually bullish long-term on Bitcoin overall, but I see a little bit of more of a pullback, which could represent a buying opportunity. All right, later, maybe during the summer sometime. and then have a rally towards the end of the year again. Now, if you're trading this, you may want to get out if we go below this, but I'm going to leave that up to each one of you and how you want to do that. More active traders, what they do is tend to get out here when they see that a major trend turning and then get back in after the profit taking. So that's just a quick review of that. And you can see things are still kind of bearish here on this chart, but that's how we use the 3 time frames. And I wanted to get Bitcoin out of the way because that's a fairly popular one. All right, now let's dive in and see what you all want to look at, which is always fun. All right, so I'm going to ask you, when you type things in, type them in 3 symbols at a time, okay? That way we don't get stuck doing, 10 symbols while everybody else has to wait for one person. So it just kind of spreads it out. Now you can come back and type another 3 in as well. So you can keep doing that, but it keeps the flow good. All right, so Kumar, I think you're the first one. Let's see what we got here. And you did type in more than 3, so I'll split this up. We'll do NVIDIA first. So NVDA. Okay, let's see how that's doing here. And also tell me if you are long, all right, or out of the market, thinking about where should I put my stop if I'm long, should I stay long? Tell me a little bit of information when you type those symbols in so I can direct my comments specifically to help you. All right, so a couple things on this. All right, notice, just like in Bitcoin, notice we have drawn in our fib retracement area for this move up. All right, we hit it once here, but check this out. Do you see this chart on the far left? That indicator right below the owl that I've circled is red, and that's called the precision trend filter. It's a great indicator. It's accurate about 75% of the time, so I pay attention to it. And basically, the easiest way to look at that is you look at the red area and you go up to the prices up here, and whatever the lowest price is in that red area, there is a 75% chance that the market could back and go back below that. So we got to be a little bit careful about going long. Now, if the indicator is wrong this time, which it is 25% of the time, it will turn green. And then if that's the case, then that clears the way for a long trade at that point. But I always wait and be patient to make sure that indicator, okay, is valid or it has been disproven as invalid. And the only way you're going to know if it's invalid is if it abruptly turns green. And it's close, because you can see on this line, it's close to turning green because it's almost above the upper band. So if we see a lot more momentum, positive momentum coming into the market, that may change it. The other thing I look at here on the daily chart is if this is an Elliott wave 3, technically speaking, this would be what, an A, B, C. So you have C longer than A, which is good because you need that for a correct correction, and we hit the target zone. So this is setting up, and you also have a red owl, which you need for wave 4. So this is setting up for a possible bottom here for the pullback. I would just wait a little bit on this. NVIDIA is not done, okay? If you look at the weekly chart, this is why I use 3 time frames. Look how strong this is. More highs coming because you see it's green here and it's green here. So after the correction, it's saying more highs are coming. And that makes sense because after wave 3, you have wave 5, right? So this is, you can continue to hold this for quite some time, depending on if you want to obviously trade the daily chart, okay, you might want to get out and then get back in. But if you're a long-term holder, there's no reason to get out of NVIDIA, okay? It's going to make more highs. It's going through a profit-taking period at this point. All right, so that is one. Let's take a look at your next one here, AMD. All right, so AMD, very similar. And this is what the market is doing overall right now. It's pulling back. We anticipated the Dow, the NASDAQ, the S&P after a big run since October. It's been in a bullish run since October. So it's not surprising that it's time for some profit taking. And of course, you're going to see that pretty much across the spectrum of all the stocks. But again, let's take a look at the overall picture on the far right. Very bullish. All right. So again, I know a lot of people have been calling for Armageddon in April in terms of a big sell-off in the market, or one's coming next week. You tune into YouTube and you hear that. And I don't know how they're coming up with that type of analysis, but whenever I make a forecast, I have to be able to prove it through my technical analysis. And for right now, on what I'm seeing overall, because all the long-term charts that I've looked at, including the ones on the major indexes, are still bullish, showing after the profit-taking pullback, which is what we're in now, we should see more highs. So I don't see a high in the market yet, okay, overall on any of the indexes. What I would expect is after this profit taking, we get more bullishness, which could last through the election, maybe towards the end of the year, maybe bleeding into 2025. I'll have a better idea after we get into the target zone for those sectors. But in any case, once wave 5, once the next high is in and the target's reached, then you got to look out, because then I'm expecting a bear market. But I don't see it happening right now. That's my point. So when I take a look at a lot of these stocks like this, all right, yeah, they pulled down. This is red over here. So it looks like quite a few of the stocks are still showing a red PTF on the 60-minute chart. And how you would read that is, you read it left to right, just like you read, okay? On this chart over here, which is the 60-minute chart, we expect this to happen before the chart in the center. And the chart in the center should happen before the chart on the right. So you read left to right. So we expect more, we're in a correction. So we're kind of pulling up. So we're pulling up here a little bit like this. And then we expect this to roll over for possibly one more low, provided that PTF stays red on the 60-minute chart. So I don't think the bottom's in yet. I wouldn't be buying here yet. We have a very steep owl here. So I think it's still working itself out to the downside on this correction. After it's over, then it could be a buy. And again, if you're a long-term holder of this and you don't want to do anything, you should be okay, because it should recover. If you're a short-term swinger, you should have been out a long time ago, okay? So that's AMD. All right, Apple, AAPL. Let's take a look at Apple here. All right, a little bit different configuration, but nonetheless, you can see we've had this little ABC pull down. Looks like almost a double bottom, but I believe this one is lower than this one. Let me just run the numbers here real quick. I got the numbers on the other screen. So that's 11689. This is 116. Yeah, this is lower. So notice we really, at this particular point, all right, looks like we had a new high here, and this was higher. All right, so we're kind of in an area where I don't like this one as much as I like some of the others. It's a little bit messy. Let's just take a look at the weekly chart here, okay? Open that up. So that is a wave 3 to the upside. And you can always tell a wave 3 in the Elliott wave because it's a big move up in high oscillators here. You had a decent correction here. One more high came here. And it looks like we had a hook and one more high here. So I think this may be going down for a while, all right? So I'm not as bullish on Apple as I was on the others. So I wouldn't go short here because you're in an uptick here. But by the same token, you may want to think about taking some profits if this is going into a fairly long-term wave 4 on the weekly chart, okay? So this one's a little bit different. All right, I'm going to do your others because if I don't, I'll forget and won't be able to come back to them. So let's just get those knocked out. But in the future, please, folks, just put in 3, okay, at a time, 3 symbols. All right, Lulu. Traded this many times, but not recently. All right, so Lulu is coming down as well, not done yet. We got the red PTF here. Problem with this here is this turned red. So you see where this was green and now it turned red. All right, this is one of the 25% times it didn't work, right? Because it should have made more highs before it turned red. So this changes things, okay? So now it's a bearish run. So again, I don't like Lulu as well as I do the other ones for a long-term situation that still have the green PTF and very high momentum still in Elliott wave 3 on those charts as well. So Lulu, not crazy about. Again, if you're swing trading this, you should have been out of it already. If you're short, you should have been short already. So that type of thing. So I wouldn't do anything with this one. And then Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla. So Tesla's come down quite a bit, but again, we do have a green PTF here. So we should have more highs on Tesla. but this has been a fairly nasty correction. This is almost a situation where you can see here, this was a big ABC off the top. All right, this bottom has held. We should be getting ready to go into 5 pretty soon. So I'm thinking things are looking pretty good on this. My only thing is let's wait for this red to turn green and then wait for one of our bullish pyramid trading points to come into effect, because technically still, if you were short, your stop would be on top of here. So here's looking good. Okay, let's wait for a pullback and then another move up. So here's the situation. When you're trading off possible bottoms, all right, you kind of want to wait for the new trend to develop. And how do you wait for that? Higher highs and higher lows, right? So if you have a bottom here, you don't have a higher high and a higher low. You just got a straight move up, right? So you got to wait for a pullback and then another move up before you can really have higher highs and higher lows. And that's where our pyramids would draw in, these triangular shapes here that we use for fractal entries and exits and the definition of a trend, of course. But it also takes into account momentum. So we don't have that yet here. So it's too early to think about going in. Let's give it more time, bring it back. It certainly is not quite ready, but it could be getting close. All right. And then finally, Intel INTC. So these are pretty much all the techs here, Kumar, which is kind of cool to get those done. All right. So big move down here. All right. Not over yet. We got a red PTF on the 60-minute time frame. Look at all the pyramids pointing down here. You could just trail your stops down the flat part of the pyramids, and you'd be in good shape. You'd be really good on that one. And then here, okay, move down after a big move up. This pyramid would have taken you out early. So the bottom's not in yet. Okay, so let's come and take a look at that one soon. This bottom on the weekly chart certainly could hold, but it looks like it's going down, maybe a double bottom or something there. So anyway, we'll come back. All right, excellent, excellent. Let's see what we got here. Okay, Stu, how are you, Stuart? Okay, he's got 3 coming up. All right, ETHE. Let's take a look at this one. All right, so we've obviously looked at this before, and because you can see all my drawing in of the fib retracements. So here we are. Okay, we're kind of in the retracement zone. Notice right away, once you get good at this, it's really quick to analyze this. You're kind of like a pilot flying an airplane where you have all these instruments, but you know at a glance by looking at them what's going on, and that's kind of where you want to get with your trading. So the idea here is that with my rule base, I'm looking across the charts and I can see very quickly long-term chart, we're still bullish. This correction that we're in, because it's still bullish on the long-term chart, this correction is just a correction. It's not a change in trend. That's step 1. Step 2 is take a look at the daily chart here. We got a wave 3, 4 has to be in red. And so we got that. We reached the target zone. We don't yet have a bottom in place. Well, we could have a bottom, but we don't yet have really an uptrend in place. Because if you remember from my previous example, we have to have a higher high and a higher low before we can really state that the trend has changed. And so far, the pyramids are all pointing down. So this is one that goes on your watch list because this is probably close to a long trade, okay, here. So let's keep an eye on this, but it's still moving down. But we'll see. We'll see how much further it goes down in the next few days. But we need a turnaround before we can do anything. All right, Coinbase. Let's take a look at Coinbase, COIN, in the crypto community. And on this one here, out of all the cryptos, Coinbase has been pretty stable here. Even more stable, I'd say, than Bitcoin at this point. But again, like Bitcoin, it hasn't come down to the high probability retracement zone, which is between 38.2 and, of course, 61.8. So my target here, okay, is around 192 to 136. So I don't think it's quite done. We got red over here. But after we get down here, we got enough bullishness here for a rebound. So cryptos are still in their corrective state right now. All right, DJT. Let's take a look at that one. All right, so this was, the newly released, I guess, IPO back just a little while ago. So on this one here, big pull up. Well, it opened high, pulled back down. And so now what do you do with it? Well, we don't have any green PTFs, do we? They're all yellow, so they're all neutral. So that's not helping us. So what's going to go on? Well, this was a wave 3. That made sense for a 4. And then we had a final one up here. So now we're probably in a bigger move down. This could be a 1. This could be a 2 on the long-term chart. Do we have a bottom in yet? We might. Okay, we certainly possibly could. All right, but then again, there's no real wave count that's very clear on this move down. So maybe 1, 2, let's see what we got, 3, 4, 5, maybe. So maybe that's the end of some leg down there. So this one's not as clear as I'd like it to be, but we also have a situation where we had a pull up, a pull back. So you technically got a little bit of an uptrend going on here, right? But you still have red here. So that's got to turn to a green. And my fear on this one is, as long as this stays red, all right, the problem is you could have one more downdraft. So we got to wait for that to turn green, and that shifts the odds in our favor that we won't have another downdraft. Okay. All right. So hang tight on that one. I'm not going to recommend it. Hal, how are you? All right. ZIM. Okay. So, all right. Not too much history on this. If you look on the weekly chart, it starts with about 2020 or 2021, somewhere around in there. So only a few years, and in the stock market, that's not long. But let's see if we have an opportunity for a new leg up. In other words, if we look on the weekly chart, is this a bottom? That's the question. If so, this would be a great opportunity to go long. But look at this. This is red. So that's indicating the bottom's not in yet. So any move up from here is just a counter trend move. Now, that doesn't mean it can't move up quite far, okay? Because, from a technical standpoint, if we draw the fibs in over here, okay, off wave 2 and 3, that's a heck of a target, $31 to $46. And basically, this would be an inverted wave 4. So this would be a 3, 4, and then 5. So it'd be kind of like this and then this. You know how on the other charts we were in a bullish trend. This is in a bearish trend. So that's what the deal is. So there could be a possibility for a long trade here. All right. So that's not so bad. So you had a pyramid down here, but I would wait for another pyramid before getting too excited. Okay. So it's pretty close. Okay, I get it, but I'd like to see a pullback and a pyramid in here somewhere before we go long. So let's put this one on the watch list, okay? ZIM. Close, very close. All right, let's see. What's the next one? Crab. Mr. Crab. Okay. All right. Reminds me of my days when my kids were watching SpongeBob, right? Little Mr. Crab. All right, so let's see what we got here. We got a pull down here. All right, long basing market here. You do have a pyramid here. I like that. Okay, so you have that. But the problem is the pyramid kind of came inside the channel. You see what I'm saying? So if we get a break above here, then that looks good. And a break above here will turn this one into a green pyramid. So let's wait a little longer. Okay, again, watch list, close. And this is one I would take if we break above that line there. And we might do it even before next week, or we may get another pullback, which means it'll take a little longer. So let's bring this one back, Al, for next week, okay, as well. I'll depend on you to do that for me. CLSK. CLSK. You guys are awesome out there. All right, so great opportunities here. Okay, so let's see what we got cooking here. All right, so we've got a move off the bottom here that's pretty much underway already. So this looks pretty good. All right, now this would have looked a lot better in this area here. okay, because you had a breakout already. So you're a little late to the party here, but you've got more highs coming. Let's just see where the target is on this. I'm going to open up this weekly chart. Not much history, kind of messy, isn't it? All right, so I'm trying to get a basis off this of where this could go. Okay, if it clears this high here, then that's really a good sign. It also could get up here, meet resistance, and come back down and go back into the channel. So a little tough on this one. Let's play best case scenario, but conservative case for scenario. Let's draw that in and see if we use that, you're already in the target zone. If we use this, you got a little further to go, but again, you don't have a 2-to-1 risk to reward even here. So I'm not gonna recommend this one for that reason. If you got in earlier, you could have done it, but not now. Okay. All right. Thank you, Al. All right, let's keep going here. Stu is back with KHC. Now, Kumar, you can also give me another 3 if you want, okay? So you're not limited to just typing in symbols one time. It's just that when you type them in, just do them no more than 3 symbols per time. All right, so let's see what we've got here. I don't know if you're long or short, but I'm not crazy about it, okay? Messy chart on the weekly chart, okay? Not a very definitive situation on the daily chart. So from a technical standpoint, if you got in here, you may be stuck in here as it goes sideways. So I'm saying no go on that one. All right. All right. Oh, we even have a weather report here. Gene's saying raining, lots of rain in San Diego this year. It's sunny and 70 here, and we're in Arizona. Okay. Thanks for that updated weather forecast, Gene. Let's go to Eleanor. Eleanor, how are you? All right. VRT. All right. And you are long. Okay. So this is a good one to be long in. All right. So from a standpoint, if you're an investor, Eleanor, no reason not to stay long here. Okay. Look at the weekly chart. And everybody should kind of know exactly what I'm looking at. Look at that. Boom. All right. You drew a trend line. Okay. Boom. All right. If you drew a trend line here, boom. If you do a short-term trend line, you're still in it. So no matter how you cut it, this is in a uptrend that is still going on. Now, in terms of are things changing? Are we going to get a correction? Okay. That's a possibility simply because trees don't grow to the sky forever, and neither do trends, right? So you got to, this is definitely a very mature trend. I mean, look at it, okay? So you can see that. Now, the pyramids actually did a great job moving you, tracking you up here, all right? Because, you know, basically stops here, stops here, stops here, 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 and then you were stopped out here, okay, before. So you would be technically out of this trend right now. And even though it's made another high, all right, basically we're starting to get a little bit this, look at the owl, how much it's come down into negative territory. So it's probably due for a correction, a more major correction. This is probably the hook. All right. So we usually get a hook at the end of a trend. We did not have a hook here. So you usually get a hook there. So we're probably, I would not go long here. You've got to make a decision. If you're going to stay in this for the long term, you've got to be okay for a decent correction. Okay. And once this hook ends, then you probably could go into that. All right. So be careful about that. Now I'm going to draw some fib retracements on the weekly chart just to give you an idea that when the trend ends, where is it going to go? And so we're talking around $63 to $43 for a normal correction to be expected. And then after that, you should get more highs. So if you don't want to suffer through that, then of course you would want to get out. But otherwise, you know, there you have it. So if you're in this now and you're deciding what to do and you're not out yet, I put your stop here. And let's just see what else we got to look at here. I just want to see if there's any green, no green PTFs yet. Okay, so maybe even put your stop a little higher than this at this point, maybe up under here. And then if it keeps going up and you see movement down, bring it back and we'll adjust those stops again. Okay, so that's VRT. Hopefully you did. Hopefully you got in early on that one, because that's a nice move you had there. All right, Meta. All right, Meta's definitely, this is what I think is going to happen eventually with VRT. See how it's correcting now? All right, so again, look at the long-term indicators, more highs coming. We're in a correction right now. And again, these corrections are normal in trading, that you just have to make a decision about whether you want to get out during the correction and get back in after it's over, or basically just put it under your pillow and not worry about it, so to speak. All right, so we're in a correction now. We do not have a red over here yet, okay, but we do have it here. So we'll draw our fibs based off the chart with the red, because that is the wave 4 in progress. And let's just see how high this could come up. So about 371 to 271, okay? And we have a red bearishness on the short-term chart. So that's where I think it's going, and I'll leave that up to you, how you want to act on that. After this correction, though, the market should recover and make new highs. Okay, so it depends if it's a trade or investment for you. AV. Let's see. Okay, we looked at this one before, didn't we? Okay, so we had a breakup here before. Okay, it's squarely in our target, pulled back. We've got a whole bunch of different colored PTFs, so more highs coming long-term, highs eventually coming. Short-term, this is saying that maybe we'll go back down a little bit, okay? So kind of interesting. Now, if it changes, fine, but what could happen is we could settle back down here again, so that would be around 140 into this area, so that would be a new low on the pullback before we'd have a chance for it to go up. So again, long term, if you wanted to just put it under your pillow and don't worry about the correction, fine. Short term, you kind of probably want to keep your stops tight to see if that comes back down again. Then you could always get in later, okay, if you're a trader. All right, Alexander, good morning to you as well. Good to have you here. All right. Kumar, you are very welcome. All right. Oh, good. You have a couple more. Good. All right. So you're long the video. Okay. So I think we covered that one already for you. All right. Gotcha. Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Just wanted to remind you of that. Okay. All right. Feel free to type in another 3 if you want to right now. All right, Al, let's see what you got cooking for you. All right. DID. That's a long one. DIDIY. I don't think I've looked at this one before. Or maybe we did and I just don't remember it. Nope, we did not. Okay, so this is a new one. All right, and long. So you're currently long or thinking of long. You're currently long, no reason to get out, okay? You've got a very bullish green here with the stop here. All right, I'm trying to figure out what the target would be. You know, when you don't have a lot of history, because this only goes back to 2022. All right, it's hard to get an Elliott wave count, especially when you have a price bar like that, okay? So that makes it more difficult for me to figure out where this is going. So I have to definitely go to the short-term chart. And I have to tell you, that ain't helping me a lot either. So let's go to the 60-minute chart and see. And all right, so maybe a 3 here. Looks like we have taken that out. Let me get rid of my drawing tools. So when you don't have much history, you have to go to lower time frames to get more price bars, figure out what's going on. All right, so you broke, so you did get a wave 3 there. All right, let me just see here. So 3, okay. Let me just do this and see if we can get an idea on an extension here. So 3, oh, I gotta have 2 though. Let's see. That's not a 2, that's a 2. Okay, give me a sec. All right, extensions, let's see. 2, 3, 4. So we're already in the target. Okay, so you know, if you're long, great. Just use the pyramids to control your stops, but otherwise, I'm not going to recommend this one for a long rate. All right, it's already in the target zone. All right, HCP. All right, so this is coming off the bottom nicely, isn't it? Look at the weekly chart. I wish we had a little more history. The best I can give you for a target maybe on this is a retracement from where it started. And so maybe I'll draw something like that from here to here. Notice I didn't go to the top because I go from 2, 1, 2, 3, and then, you know, so that type of thing. So maybe we get something here. Let's see, maybe we have a 5 here possible. Okay, that's possible. All right, let's just see what we got on this chart here. Now, that's definitely a 3 down. All right, so I'm thinking target 43 to 59. We're at 32. You'd have to put your stop at least below this price bar here. So that would be 23. Okay, so what do you got? You got about 11 points to the first initiation of the fib target zone. And then here, you'd have to put your stop down here. So that'd be 29, 23. You don't have the risk to reward on that one, unfortunately. It's already gotten away from you. Okay, so no go on that. All right, but you got the right idea, that's for sure. All right, Alexander. All right, watch list to go long. Perfect. SHAK. Let's take a look at Shaq. All right, Sue. All right, not much history. 2016, more than the other one. Let's see if we can get a take on this. So we got green here, more highs coming. Red here, pull back here. Okay, and we have green here over here. So is this little profit taking correction over? And if so, where is it going? Good question. That's a tough one to figure out. The only target I could give you off this right now would be the current target here. Let's do an extension. So if this correction's over, we're probably going up there. All right. We do not have a green owl yet. So this is premature to draw this in. So I would not go long on this daily chart with a red owl, because here's what could happen. All right. This could be an A. This could be a B that ends soon, and we get a C, and then it moves up. So if you look at here, that's a fairly straight line down. So I don't see an ABC inside this. That causes me concern. So that makes me skeptical. And let's see, a little bit of an ABC here is seen. Okay, so that's at least okay. In other words, I could justify that. So I would say wait for a pyramid, okay, on the daily chart, a bullish pyramid to come back into play on this. Okay, because you got the red owl. You got to wait a little while, okay? All right, let's keep going here. Kumar is back. Good for you. All right, BLTR. All right, so you're long on this one or thinking about a long. I would not go long here, okay? And if you are long, I take it now you're holding this for a long-term situation. So you have not been stopped out on any of the pyramids on the weekly chart. My problem with this is there's not enough history for me to get a really good target, okay? And I'm thinking maybe you're at a situation here where if you were on the daily chart, you would have been stopped out. I'm thinking here, I'm not comfortable with this one, okay? So it's not clear. And when it's not clear, I'm not in it, okay? That's kind of the way I work it. Since you are in it, then put your stop. I would put your stop under this low here, because if this is an ABC, we should go up from here. If we go back down, then this may be coming back down hard, okay? So that's the way I would play that, all right? General Motors, let's take a look at GM. You know, when I used to do the trade station morning market briefs, people would put GM and I'd get confused between General Motors and them saying good morning. Okay, so they're pretty funny. All right, so let's take a look here. We did break above the high. We were waiting for that, right? Okay, so that happened. We've got green here, nothing red, and green here. Okay, so now it's paved the way to go long. Next thing, let's take a look and see where it's going. All right, where is the target on this? Well, the PTF is saying more highs coming, but the highest price bar in the green area is only the one we're in right now. All right, so, and even so, actually, let's just see at the end of the week here, like at the end of the day. Okay, I don't know if it went higher yet. High is 17, and this high is, yeah. So this went higher, but this is lower than the upper band. So this is going to turn yellow, okay? So when the market closes today, you're going to see this turn yellow. All right, so next question is, where is it going? Tough, because this retraced too much. So if this was a 3, this 4 is just too far down there. So it could be a 1, it could be a 2. All right, let's see if the daily chart. Well, I'm not liking it. I don't see, let's see this chart here. This chart's at least helpful, but it's also showing that we're near top. Okay, so on this chart here, get rid of that line because that occurred. So let's draw in a fib extension. So you do have some potential highs there. Okay, so that's definitely a 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you actually have a pretty good target here. 53.47 to 60. We're at 45 on that. So let's drop it back down. You definitely got 2 to 1 there. All right. So I think probably use the 60-minute chart, and you could go long on this and put your stop below this pyramid here. So your stop needs to go at 42.18. So I'll put this down as a long trade on the 60-minute. Okay, which means you probably won't be in this, but for maybe a couple weeks. And if it's successful and keeps going even longer. All right. So that's okay. All right. GE. Let's see what is cooking there. The only thing is that the other one, General Motors, is a little extended, but that's okay. All right. If you use your stop where I told you. All right. So General Electric coming down. Okay. It's probably in a profit-taking area right now in terms of it's still pulling back. Long term, again, you can put this under your pillow and be happy with GE because the bullish chart is so bullish on the weekly chart. Let's draw this here for a fib retracement. All right, you did hit the high probability target zone. So now, but you did it on a gap, which is kind of interesting. So you can't really see the structure inside the first move down because of the gap. So what possibly could happen here is this could be an A, this could be a B, and we could see a C, that type of thing. All right. Now, this is missing a wave count inside here. That's what's making it difficult, but it did hit the target. But this is still red, so you can't do anything with it in terms of entering a trade right now. Okay. If you're long, all right, and you suffered through this pullback already, then, and you don't mind if it goes down again into the 120s, perhaps, or 130s, then you hold it. Okay. You should get rewarded because the chart on the right is so bullish, right? I mean, look, green, green, and you're still in wave 3. So after this, you should have something like this. The question is this over? Okay. All right. On this chart. Okay. So there you have it. All right. So I'm thinking stay long for a long-term investor. All right. And then you're going to have to make the decision otherwise. Okay. And that is General Electric. All right. Let's keep going here. Uh-oh, lost my place. Give me a second. Oh, there you are. Okay, I think I got you. All right. Tesla for a long entry. We looked at Tesla already, but we'll take another look at it, Ray, for you. All right. And on Tesla, it's not quite ready yet for a long entry. So basically, it looks like it may be turning around, but we still have an active pyramid here and here, and we have red here. This is good. Okay. This is showing an upbeat, but we also don't have the definition of an uptrend in place on this one. So if you remember, or what I covered already, is we had a move up. Let's wait for a move down, and then another move up for higher highs and higher lows. And we should hopefully get a pyramid in there as well. The momentum is good. Okay, so do nothing on this except put this on a watch list for right now. Okay, this you could put on a watch list, and let's see how it matures over the next week. Okay, all right, Jim, how are you, Jim? All right, my day trading buddy. All right, USO. Let's take a look at oil, which of course we've been bullish on. All right, now oil had a little volatility back in 2023, 2022. It was coming down, and so since then it looks like it's going up. Our target's about 100 to 120, I think, or I think it's actually 100 to about 100 and 120, and I think eventually it should get above that high, maybe. So right now we think there's a bottom here. We're moving off the bottom, and if we can draw a short-term top on this for later this summer, we're thinking right around there, 100 to 125. Okay. So in terms of going long right now, you're late. Okay. So I would wait and see if we get a pullback. We're due for one. We've got an extended owl on the daily chart. So we're due for this to go red. And that means we might have already started it. So we could go back down into this area here. Let's draw a quick fib retracement. So if you're in it, I would hold it. If you're not in it, wait for the retracement. Okay. And if you're a trader and you want to get out of it, you can certainly have your stops in place in case it corrects more. But I think probably oil is due for a little bit of a correction at some point here before it resumes higher, unless we get a quick hook for oil right now on the daily chart, which we might. Okay, so we'll see. All right. But anyway, bullish long-term on this. I know we don't have any green PTFs, so I'm going off the Elliott wave primarily. All right, so that's USO. Silver, also bullish on silver. Silver kind of broke out on its pennant with a pyramid here, textbook breakout. So it broke out of the pennant, and we also got a pyramid. You can't get better than that. And then since then, it's been taken off. So the question on silver is, where is it going? All right. So if we open up here, this chart here, we have to look at silver, and this is the ETF. Okay. So 1, 2, this retracement is 2 is over here. This retracement is too big to be a 4. And so we're hoping we're breaking out on a 3. And if it's a 3, we'll get above 1. Okay. So we think silver could do very well. It's been very volatile over the last couple of years and pretty stationary. But now we're getting a breakout. Now, the other thing we want to watch here is getting above here. So while we've got a breakout, we need it to get above here to really solidify a possible wave 3 forecast. And we've got a green PTF here now just forming. So things are looking really good, and great trade to the upside. Now, the question he's asking is silver too late to go long? So, well, if we're right long term, the answer is no, right? But the problem is you've got to put your stops so low because you're going to get a fairly good pullback before we start taking off here. So there's the problem. Here's your wave 3. We might have one more hook to the upside. And it looks like we'll probably get that because that's showing we're in a wave 4 here. So let's do this. All right. We're close to a pullback target on the 60-minute. So this will not go red, okay? Should not go red, okay? So that should not happen. So this means we'll probably get one more hook to the upside. So where is that hook going to go? Probably something like this. Fib extension, boom, boom. Let's say it comes down a little bit more. So I'm thinking maybe 28 to 31 for a short-term top on silver. And then we're going to go into a larger correction. So I'll leave that up to you as to how you want to play this. Okay. Do you want to wait for the larger correction or wait a little bit longer for the current correction to reach back into the fib retracement on the 60 and then take it up there and then get out here, wait for the next correction and get back in? Or long term, if we're in a wave 3, put it under your pillow and leave it alone, okay? So it's all about intentions and how you want to play that. All right, let's keep going here. We've got BCE. All right, BCE not quite ready for a long trade. I get what you're trying to do. We're trying to get a bottom off here, and we are darn close. So what we're looking at here, and this is a good bottom. So this is a 3, 4, 5, still got some red, still have some active pyramids. Looks like we may be turning around, okay? So let's keep an eye on this. But I want it to turn around on the daily chart because we have a red PTF still. So that's indicating even if we got to turn around, I'm not so sure wave 5 is over yet. That's the problem, okay? So let's be a little bit more patient, but for sure, put this on your watch list, okay? Because this is a good one. Because once that bottoms in, it's going to be a nice move to the upside. All right, let's go PLTR. Okay, let me just reorganize these indicators over here for a moment. Okay, so not much history on this. Also fairly extended to the upside. I didn't get that. Could you try again? That's my watch. All right, so I'm thinking no. It's not doing it for me. Okay, so I like BCE better when the bottom is finally in. Okay. All right, let's keep going here. Okay, good, Kumar. Okay, he's been long on some of those. Good. Well, I think on some of those we looked at, more highs are coming, but you're going to have to weather the pullback. Okay. Okay, let's see what we got here. And you're looking for short-term profits. Okay. And as Gene says on GM, just use the 60-minute chart, and it looks actually pretty good. Okay. All right. All right, Eleanor, back. Let's see. Google. G-O-O-G. G-O-O-G. All right. So Google. Woohoo. All right. So you're already long Google. All right. So it's popped back up. We got a green PTF now on the 60, so more short-term highs coming. And as you can see, once those pullbacks have finished, then there it goes again. So let's take a look at this. Let's grab our fib extensions and see possible good move up here. I have to go back quite a ways here. Oh, no, wrong one. Sorry. That was the time extensions. Want the fib extensions. I'm going to try a couple different little points here. Now we're close to being in the target now. So this may be usually with gaps, okay, like this. See the gap? Usually gaps occur 3 places on a trend when they occur. They don't always occur, but when they do. Usually in the beginning, the middle, and the end. So we're at the target zone. So maybe this is a gap that's forming towards the end. Now this is green over here. So more highs are coming. Could fill the gap a little bit before they come. But I would use this. If you've been in it a while, all right, I would use that point right here as your stop. Okay. And so, because if this is true, this is a 3, this is a 4, this is a 5, and after this, we'll have a change in trend. So you're kind of close to the top. So that point that I think I would get out at is 152.76. Now, if we make a high sooner rather than later, and this PTF turns yellow, I would scale out there as half my position and keep the other half here. And then as we get further in the target zone, if that happens, trail your stops up under the price bars. Okay. But you can do that how you see fit. Walmart. Let's take a look at WMT. All right. So you've been long in this one. Okay. So this one here, long term, you can certainly see green PTF. Looks like we're going into a correction. We got a bearish pyramid, red owl. The pyramids did a great job getting you out of a long position here, but you're close enough that if you wanted to get out here, you could. Okay. So if you're a long-term investor and you don't want to do that, then on this run up, we can expect a retracement here into 57 to 54. Okay. So a little bit lower. All right. And then more highs after that. So I'll leave that up to you on how you want to do that. Okay. Cool. All right. So I think overall the markets are pretty much still in a correction. So I think they're just still kind of unwinding. All right. All right. Kumar, great. All right. Thank you too as well. All right. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. All right. I'll leave that up there for just a moment before what I'll do here, I'll go over just the ones we looked at that we liked and also the ones on the watch list in a moment. Okay. Okay. All right. So I think that's it. I'm going to just do a recap on some of these. So give me 1 second and we'll pull up my list here. Okay. So the one I like the best for today is GM. Okay. It's a short-term chart. I think, Kumar, this was yours. It's a 60-minute time frame. So, let me bring that one up again since it's only one here. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to go full screen for just a moment. Okay. So this chart, this trade is actually based off this chart. Okay. So we've got a target here. Hopefully you can see that there at home. Let me widen that up a little bit more like that. Okay. So let me hit this. Sometimes the target. Okay. So here's a 3. Okay. Basically 3 and 4. All right. Let me just draw this a little accurately. More accurate. And when you're going for precision, what you want to do is zoom in like I just did and draw these things so the points are fairly close to where they should be accurately. Okay. So that's a 3, that's a 4, it's in a 5, and 5 should resolve up here between 53.37 to 60.47. So that's a short-term trade, and that could occur quickly because it's a short-term time frame, or if it stalls out a little bit, you could be in it for a little bit longer, but not too long. It's not like a position trade. Okay. So that's the one I like the best out of all those. Now, I got a list for the watch list. So please bring these back next week. So whoever asked me to look these up, just bring them back for next week and we'll see how they're maturing. So ETHE, ZIM, Z-I-M, crab, C-R-A-B, Tesla, TSLA, and BCE, which I actually kind of like the best on the watch list because that's a clear wave 5 we're in. And once wave 5 ends, then a new trend emerges. And if you can get in early on that new trend, it can be a home run for you. So definitely bring that one back for next week. All right. Well, listen, I want to thank everybody for coming. It looks like there's no more here. I think I got them all. So we're good there. I'm going to put it on I'm going to put some music on and just go ahead for the next few minutes and take a look at some of the intraday timeframes. We run a day trading room. So it's kind of fun to keep it on there and just let you watch the the ticks up and down on those short-term charts. And this is the futures market. So we tend to do this more than stocks in terms of day trading. So let me just put that up there for you. And what I will do is also go full screen, put a little music on, and then we'll be all set, okay? All right, so thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. And let me go full screen. And this is MYM. Let me just run through these real quick and see. All right, so it looks like here's your corrective pattern here. All right, so down here. So we'll see what's going on with that. Let's see if we can find a better one. All right, here's the NASDAQ. And NASDAQ looks like it's a run up. Still in a wave 3 here. Green PTF here. So I'm thinking maybe a little bit more correction, unless this is a bottom here. Let me just keep going on to the M2K. All right, so they seem like they're all running up on a leg. Again, in day trading, you want to try to get in as early as you can. So some of these are a little late to get in. This one here is kind of almost in a pennant here. So if you ran that down there and ran this down here like this, we got a pyramid here. So if that breaks the pennant, that'll be pretty strong as well, along with one of our pyramids. Let's go to gold. All right, gold now seems like it may be moving off its bottom temporarily, at least. So in this case here, maybe a target short term on this one would be right around here. We're almost there, so that's a no-go. MCL is moving up off its bottom with a red PTF, so this is a correction only. All right, so let's find one we can put it on, put a little music on here. Let's watch this one and see how this one goes here. And let's see if we can figure out. It's kind of a messy market, though. Look at that. All right, well, let's watch the pennant and see, okay? Trying to figure out what the target would be on this one. Got a big move up. So, all right, so I think we're gonna, nothing's really exciting me that much in terms of a day trade. You know, sometimes even when I look at these very short time frames, this is a 1 minute time frame, 15-second, 5. Sometimes I have to wait 40 minutes for the right setup. All right, so if I don't have a target zone or if I don't see a good pattern, I don't trade. All right, I just wait for it. But in any case, so I don't really see something that's knocking my socks off here. But we'll take a look and see how it does on this pennant. Okay, a breakout on a pennant either way usually indicates some form of a trend occurring. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, so that is it. I'm going to put some music on. And here we go. Ooh, Eleanor, if you're still here, I just saw your Disney. Hold on. Sorry about that if I missed it. Let me just kill the music here, review this, and then we'll go back. All right, so Disney, D-I-S. All right, so let's see what we got here real quick. All right, so that one's moving off the bottom there. All right, so this actually could be a good one. I would wait for this owl to turn green. If you're in it, stay in it. If you're thinking about getting in it, it's close. So actually this would go on the watch list too. This is a really good one. I like that one as much as BCE for the watch list. This is looking good here. The only thing that's keeping me out is a bearish pyramid here. We've got red here. We've got red here. We do have a downtrend in place, clearly seen here. This is green. This is green. So I'm thinking just wait for this pullback to finish, kind of like the others, and then this will be a good one. So this one can go on the watch list, okay? All right, and that is Disney, D-I-S, okay? If I missed that, sorry about that, okay? But there you have it, okay? Good. All right, so as Gene says, give us a like. I'm going to go back over to the short time frames on the MES, and we'll go back and see if it breaks above this pennant. Looks like it's trying. All right, once again, have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks so much.
you.